struggling as well, saying that Minnesota keeps losing, and Fort Lauderdale keeps losing. There's a chance still to get back in the hunt.
And we're underway here in Oklahoma City for our NASL Game of the Week. We had a Wednesday night, but we're back here on the weekend. A heavy slate of Sunday night games, as you see there in the OKC goal. Tonight is Daniel Fernandez. He, of course, one of 3 Oklahoma City players that has started each and every game tonight. Oklahoma City wearing the grays, but Fernandez wearing the black rainbow uniform. And he'll allow his side to get forward and play it long over the top. As you mentioned, coming in, OKC yet to lose in their last 4 games, but that's the glass half full version of it. The glass half empty version of it is they have just 1 win in 10. And so need to convert draws to victories. As you see here, our players to watch: Michel in midfield, scorer of 10 goals this season. And for Carolina, it is Omar Bravo, mid-season addition, coming from Chivas de Guadalajara. As you hear Stephen Miller just booting it clear. Scoring 4 goals since coming into the league, 10 starts, 2 substitute appearances. And Omar Bravo, the Mexican legend, will of course lead the line as Derek Boateng plays in the area. Far post! Billy Forbes was threatening, but couldn't direct it on target. It's out for a goal kick.
Well, we just talked about those players, Boateng and Forbes trying to hook up here. Finally, we get a ball in the box and see how dangerous it is. Good runs, good hard runs from those wide players, in to out or out to in. Makes it very hard for Carolina.
And OKC are actually second fewest in the league in terms of total crosses sent in. That's not their game. Gerard Noose and Alan Marcina before him trying to play more on the ground. So they haven't been able to try and send too many balls into the penalty area, and I think we've seen the results.
It's very interesting, too, because Samaras makes his living inside the 18-yard box. Obviously not starting today, but played a lot of games, and that's where you want to find your big man, so to speak. And we've noticed in some of the games we did on this network on being that Samaras gets so frustrated, he starts dropping into midfield in order to get touches on the ball. That's not what you want to see. They need to stretch the back 4 of Carolina with the speed of Forbes, Gibson, and Boateng.
See there, Kareem Moses about to take the throw, and he's been deputizing at that left back position for Paul Black. You see here, Derek Boateng, seems like a right wrist or hand that is really hurting him. So he'll just get a bit of treatment. We'll actually go ahead and continue play with OKC down to 10 at the moment. On the ball is Mickey Daly.
OKC is a tough team to beat, Chris, as you said already. They're giving up 30 goals only on the year, but they haven't scored either. They're -1 with 29 goals for. That's not going to get you far.
Ball over the top by Connor Tobin, a bit off the mark. Kareem Moses trying to give chase. Let's tell you about the playoff situation right now in NASL, which has really gotten interesting because Minnesota United, who had seemed to have a pretty clear hold of that number 4 spot. Now, for those of you that don't know, NASL sends 4 teams to the playoffs: the winner of the spring, the winner of the fall, and then the next 2 highest place finishers in the combined table. Now, this season, as Billy Forbes is onto it, into the penalty area, hit it first time, but it takes a deflection off of Stephen Miller, it looks like. It'll come out for a throw-in. Now,
go ahead.
The good news for this year is that it's not too confusing because Indy 11, who won the spring, is among the top 4, and so they're in. The Cosmos are likely to win the fall. They're also top the combined, and so the next 2 spots after that, FC Edmonton has a clear lock on one of them, and then it's now a race of 3 teams. It could be Carolina tonight, who makes it 4 on 36 points for 4th place. 3 teams are tied right now: Miami, Tampa, and Minnesota. Minnesota opening up the opportunity by losing 4 straight. If Carolina wins tonight, they join that group of teams on 36 points and really make this finale to the season quite interesting.
Yeah, it does. And we asked that question to Colin Clark, and he said, you know what? I can't influence the other games. I just need to focus on our team. We need to play better defense individually, as a group, but as a whole team. We need to take pride in that. And going forward, I need Omar Bravo, that started out so hot when he first came over from Guadalajara and has just tailored off a little bit. Shriver, who also has a quiet year, as I said again, they get 4 or 5 players in the 3-4 goal range. can they find somebody going forward that consistently can be a threat?
Chip over the top. Good play here by Carolina. Charging into the air, sliding in towards Shriver. It falls to the feet of Deleuze. And you figured he would have scored. He scored twice on this ground in the spring, but there, with an absolute sitter from 8 yards out, could not direct it on the target.
And as you can see here, great combination play. And again, the running off the ball is so important. Great tackle there, actually. And Shriver is finding Deleuze and on his favorite left foot as well. I mean, this normally should be pace, strong, near post, or his strong side, and that's 1-0. Like the fact that Carolina has shown now vertical play. And by what I mean by that is balls playing through lines, running off the ball, getting in good positions, and then forcing or allowing Deleuze to get in a good position to hopefully score.
And it was brilliantly worked by a multitude of Carolina players. You saw Stephen Miller charging forward from his right back position to have a sliding cross in towards Shriver. Brilliant hold-up play, left it for Deleuze. And you actually probably would wonder if it would have rather it have fell to 99. You just wonder there if maybe Jared Van Schaik had a bit of a bite at his tongue. So you hear the bleeding, dabbing at the tongue. A lot of blood on that bit of tissue there. Either way, it'll be a goal kick, but first big chance of the game, and Austin Deleuze fluffs his lines.
No, we see both teams actually playing fairly open and trying to create early chances. We saw Forbes trying to fight Boateng, just a little bit long on that great point, or switching the point of attack, which I think is so important for Carolina. And here, that nice combination play, vertical play forward as well, which is so important. And the running of Miller from deep position and Shriver putting themselves in good position. So both teams are here to win. That's the mentality.
OKC trying to play out of the back here. A little bit of a clumsy ball from Ibiaga there towards Boateng. It's won out here by Carolina to the feet of Bravo. Out to this right-hand side, T. Shipolani to measure the cross in. You're now going to run towards the byline. Shipolani, high arcing cross towards Bravo, but dealt with well by Yuma on that back post. Omar Bravo was threatening.
Shipolani, so good 1-versus-1 hesitation move, and then all of a sudden he gets away from you. The first 2 yards is so quick and so fast that he can break down defenses.
They'll elect to play the short corner. Nice little chip over the top towards Al-Badawi. In there also is Watson, dealt with well though at the back.
Al-Badawi with 9 assists this year.
Leads NASL with that mark.
7 chances created, which is also very high. 38 dribbles, which is second, and duels 1, which means he's a very good two-way player, also second in the NASL.
Played out there by Kimura off of Deleuze. You see there Kimura a bit frustrated. Kosuke Kimura, the right back. One of 3 players, including Daniel Fernandez, the goalkeeper, and Footy Danso, the center back, that has started in every single OKC game.
And News, I think, finally has found a pretty good...
Boateng going to try and play it over the top here. Marvin Chavez, the closest eraser to it.
And then a holding midfielder with Yuma in there. You remember we did the Tampa Bay game at home against OKC, and they got rattled, and he made that change. The next game, it's worked out for them defensively.
Billy Forbes running it. Kareem Moses is available for him. Tries to hit it with the left foot into the area, but headed away by Matt Watson.
Now, Watson also such a great two-way player. He's first in the league in dribbles and in duels 1. So this is a guy that can bridge a lot of distances, as we call it, a shuttler. Getting the balls in the back 4, providing them forward towards his midfield or attacking threesome.
And it will be Michel, who else, to take this set piece. There, the patches of turf. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Michel just measuring this and swinging it in. Punched out there by Brian Sylvester. And now we'll see if on second opportunity OKC can get something towards this area. And instead, Kimura will elect to play back to his goalkeeper, and as is generally the theme in Europe, they'll try and play out of the back. Michel was offside.
And if you have to rely on Michel with 10 goals, and your next goal scorer is Finley with 4, and after that 2 players, Forbes and Samaras at 2, and this is your holding midfielder, it's a tough task.
Watson charging forward to the feet of Omar. Bravo going to try and cut out to his right foot. Good challenge in from Danso, and now Boateng has the ability to charge through midfield. He's got runners available, including Forbes, who'll elect to play it long over the top. Michel charging onto it as he runs towards the penalty area. He'll try and settle on this left foot, and does. Plays it back here for Kimura. What about measuring the cross? Instead tries to play it through towards Forbes. Instead it's a handball on Deleuze.
Without Samaras, they've become a quicker team going forward. And the interchanging right now, the mobility is creating some problems for Carolina. Here you see the handball. Kimura trying to spring somebody out wide. I think this is going to be an advantage for OKC, in particular because they never used Samaras in the correct way, but certainly now with pace and a little bit more mobility, interchanging of positions, this team is going to be tougher to play against.
And certainly more of a threat on the counterattack as well, if you're mentioning pace. Again, another free kick here. Long discussion here between Danso and Michel, trying to work out this set piece. Now our match day referee, Dave Gantar, will lay down the vanishing spray. And of course here now for the 2-man wall, Bravo in there for Carolina. This is a great set piece team here, Rayo OKC. Penalties, corners, free kicks, they do it all pretty well. Yuma will fake it. Instead, of course, it's Michel who's swinging in. Far post, headed on and into the side netting. Sebastian Ibeagha was threatening, but couldn't direct it on target. Another good chance here this time for OKC.
Yeah, you got Ibeagha, you got Danso, you got some big bodies in there. And then the service from Michel, away from the goalkeeper, this time far post, allowing Ibeagha to make that little looping run and get there as well.
And it was a good header too, just had gone a bit too far for it to be on target. That looping cross into the sun here in OKC.
And Michel can hit so many balls, a different variety, with pace, shoelaces. That wasn't a looping ball, as you said, Chris. So he's been very successful, obviously, from those positions in particular.
I mentioned I was going to tell you about this turf called Next Field with 2 X's. As the long ball is played, Michel going to try and keep it in, but in the end just overruns him. And the ownership group here in charge in OKC ahead of the season, we're looking for a turf solution because they do play at Miller Stadium, which is at UConn High School. They themselves have a turf field, but it's not wide enough for standard league play, and it's not a terribly good surface for soccer to be played on. So they went and purchased a surface that they lay above the UConn, the UConn Stadium ground, and it's actually Velcroed together. There's Velcro edges on all the pieces, and it's Velcroed together, and they lay it overnight so that it can kind of take. And as the season has gone along, it has played a lot better as a surface than it did at the start. But it's a solution that they discovered from the Montreal Impact in MLS as what they use to try and make the best out of an artificial surface, allow it to play most like a grass field. And for the most part, from what we've seen tonight, it's not as exaggerated as we've seen from other NASL grounds, as Fernandez just giving away possession there. Al-Badawi now has a chance to charge forward. Deleuze on this left-hand side. Matt Watson on the ball. Returned here for Al-Badawi, just trying to work around Yuma, but good challenge. And this time Deleuze going to try and swing the cross in, but it takes a deflection off Kimura for a throw-in. Now here towards the byline, Al-Badawi in the area. Deleuze was spaced to hit the cross in, headed away by Danso. Michel and Deleuze with a dual one out there by OKC. Oh, intercepted by Al-Badawi, but just losing handle of that one, and it'll be a throw in to Rayo.
And right now you just got a great look of the turf, Chris. The only thing that's problematic is a player trying to cut and just ending up pushing off in between the seams right there, or a defender does the same thing. That will allow you not to push out as hard as you normally could on different surfaces.
Bravo trying to work through the defender, Yuma, and it's actually a free kick given away. Yuma a bit frustrated there, and in a dangerous position. Carolina will have a set piece. As we should tell you that you can check out our webpage, bnsports.com, where of course our BN Sports Connect platform is. And all of our great content online at BN Sports USA on Twitter. We'll have the social highlights of the goals from all of our games here on BN Sports, and at ESBN Sports for our Spanish language account. And now we'll see who will take this set piece here. It looks like it will be Omar Bravo. And surely you would imagine it would be a shot here from about 5 yards past the 18-yard box. And Omar Bravo, the Chivas de Guadalajara legend, over 370 appearances for that club, came mid-season, was announced in their friendly against West Ham United of the Premier League, and now Omar Bravo will take this free kick. It's Omar Bravo! He went far post, but Daniel Fernandez equal to it.
Yeah, he went to the strong side of the goalkeeper. The wall protects, obviously, the weak side, and Bravo hits it with pace. Very accurate, but Fernandez comes up pretty big with his left hand.
I wonder if that was heading for the top corner or the crossbar. The first angle we saw probably would suggest crossbar, but either way, a well-hit free kick there by Bravo. Now a corner for Carolina. Shipolani will take it from that right-hand side near post. Michel was in there as well as Deleuze. Deleuze frustrated, though, with the call of goal kick.
Oh, that's just a poor ball being played in by Shipolani. You have to get it over that first defender inside the 6-yard box. You get all your big guys going forward. That's just frustrating for the big boys, so to speak. Daly, Tobin, get in the box.
Fernandez lets now play it over the top, and a aerial battle between Moses and Kimura yields a free kick to Rayo. Should mention, of course, Rayo Vallecano de Madrid, the team that the majority owner of this club. Ahead of this season, they decided to join in on the Oklahoma City venture. Although, unfortunately for them, and also unfortunately for the club here in OKC, they were relegated from La Liga last year in the Segunda Division. Sit right now in 9th place. They've won 2 out of their last 3, sitting on 11 points, 8 points off the top and 5 points off the automatic promotion place. Hopefully for them, they return to La Liga. They were known for having such a unique style of play. Here, Paco Gemes. Just unfortunately, they were relegated and had ramifications stateside as well. He's lumped up there by Connor Tobin. You see him there wearing the facial mask. He was out for a bit with an injury, and now likes to play with the mask on. See it in the NBA all the time. Don't see it a ton in soccer. Tobin just a bit more comfortable making sure that he doesn't have a broken nose situation or anything of the like. Deleuze will play a long throw in, well, falls to the feet of Al-Badawi, edge of the area. Here's Bravo. Likes to get his teammates involved. Miller to the feet of Shipolani. Gonna run past Van Schaik. Cross in towards Al-Badawi, who couldn't quite head it down. Instead, it just sails on him. It'll be a goal kick to Rayo.
OKC he's had some real success in that right-hand side, as you said, with Shipolani, Shriver getting in good positions. Omar Bravo getting in there. Found that weak spot on Shaik, who's been a starter, out a starter. Moises Hernandez has been in there a few times, Chris as well. And I'm sure the news is still looking at that position to try to solidify it. And Shaik is very good going forward. Cultivated left foot, but defensively a liability.
Kimura. One interesting bit of information. You mentioned how Yuma has come into the center of midfield. There he is on the ball, and he'll elect to play it wide for Van Schaik. He'll keep it in play. But he does play that holding role. Boateng more of that kind of player as well, which actually has allowed Michel to now play a little bit further up, almost in a number 10 or even at this point a false 9 kind of position. You just wonder what Gerard Noose is up to tactically. He, of course, been all over the world. Coached under Rafa Benitez, has coached under a couple of other European giants, and now having his opportunity to be a manager for the first time. Was working at Vallecano de Madrid, and now on the ball, charging forward is OKC. Van Schaik here on the overlap. Tyler Gibson is available for him, but instead a good challenge in from Carolina. Now Shipalani is away, hoping to counter for Carolina. They'll elect to play the long switched ball left side here for Deleuze. Went out well and neatly dealt with to maintain possession. Good little trick there by Moses to maintain possession, but the pass a bit heavy for Deleuze.
I like the fact that Noose is forcing Michel to play a little bit forward. They got good mobility around them, so they need a passer, an accurate passer that could provide those players with good balls, and Michel certainly can do that. Yuma a little bit behind them.
Bravo to swing the cross in. White shirt in the area charging towards it. Still available here for Carolina. Here on the edge is Miller. Bravo back for Miller, tries to toe poke it, deflected away by OKC. Boateng, and just he'll bicycle kick it clear. OKC just trying to win the ball there. Marvin Chavez, the closest to it, and it'll actually be a free kick here to Carolina. I mean, pretty dangerous position.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a stupid foul from behind. No need for that. Just juggy a player there. He's going towards the end line or sideline. That's not his friend, so he's going nowhere. Good defending is just stay on your feet, force him into a negative pass backward, job done.
Daniel Fernandez barking out the orders for his men in the area. Shipalani will swing it in. Flicked on there by Mickey Daly, who had come forward from his center back position, but just not enough decisive on it. Miller coming forward, try and maintain the possession here. But it's one out here by Derek Boateng, will charge forward. Derek Boateng running through the center of that midfield, and a foul here against Carolina. You wonder perhaps even a booking coming here for the Railhawks. Let's have a look here at the challenge. And it was T. Shipalani sliding in to try and win that ball back.
Yeah, anything from behind, as you can see right here. Shipalani gets beat on that first touch, and he tries to recover. That's an automatic foul, but maybe a smart foul in terms of stopping the transition of OKC going forward, with Boateng really running on the back foot.
And it is a yellow card given against T. Shipalani, the South African.
Yeah, it's reckless. It's from behind. It's a good call by the referee.
It's actually his 6th year with the Carolina Railhawks, so a rare lifer in NASL terms. Normally you see a lot of roster interchange over the years, and Michel will actually fake it this time. Yuma will play it short here to Derek Boateng. Now you just wonder what the options here are, and it is a long ball over the top. Flicked on well, edge of the area. Billy Forbes tries to hit it first time. Still on for Forbes, but just swept clear there by Connor Tobin. Now 50-50 there in the center of the park. Matt Watson actually sends it more towards his own goal than the other direction. Defensive header won there by Miller. And Michel just maintaining possession here for Kimura. Send it long. Center back still forward after that set piece, and now they'll have to track back and try and stop this counter. Deleuze with a low ball that sends Omar Bravo on his way. Yuma there to defend. Let's see what he does. Tries to play it off Yuma, and actually doing well to make sure that doesn't go out for a corner is the central midfielder from Spain. And Boateng just heads it away for a throw-in. Should mention an interesting nugget about Derek Boateng. The 32-year-old Ghanaian has represented Ghana at international level. Actually, was an unused substitute in the United States round of 16 loss to Ghana at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, as Al Badawi charges forward. Running towards the penalty area, setting up the cross on his right foot, just stops. Again, running past Kimura. Not a ton of options, though, in white in the area, and just a good sliding challenge in covering is Michel. Coming back to do the defensive work. Wearing the captain's armband tonight for Rayo. Watson. He'll play it low. Edge of the area. Here's Al-Badawi. Gonna elect to play it towards the right-hand side. Left-footed shot comes in. Still available there. Brian Shriver trying to swing. Trying to win it back is Watson, just having a tug at Boateng. Just kind of loses his role there. You wonder if maybe there's a foul on. Now Duluth trying to win it back, swinging at the feet of Boateng. He somehow did not go down under the weight of all those challenges, but throw in here to Carolina.
Carolina does a great job right now, pressing and counter-pressing, so to speak.
It's a poor ball back. It'll be a corner for Rayo.
That's why they've been able to play in the half in that final third quite often. The pressure is paying off, the counter pressure is paying off. It forces OKC into being a little bit more direct, which is okay with their pace, and you can pounce on some of these mistakes of Carolina. That's all you need. And again, Michel, that set piece, big boys, Ibiaga and Dansu going forward. Omar's good in the air. I give him an opportunity. The service will be great. We know that.
See some of the fans there behind that goal, just trying to create a bit of atmosphere as they hope their men in gray and pink notch a goal here. Swung in by Michel, headed away defensively by Carolina, and now going to try and play it out of the back here.
Yeah, that was a big-time header, I think, with Miller, actually, because that ball was played in perfectly again.
Long ball over the top, threatening is Carolina. Still available here as charging forward, I believe that was
Brian Shriver.
Now a long ball played, Kareem Moses to deal with it. Tobin this time gets his back pass right, and Silvestre will clear.
He's the only one I don't have to look at his number, Chris, because he played for me last year, and I know his run, the way he moves. That's about it.
You will forgive us tonight if our identifications are a bit slow. The definition of the picture here from our Miami studio, not full 1080, so just trying to make out bodies and numbers and all of that. Ibiaga. Woody Danso, the Gambian. On Derek Boateng, he and Yuma have done well to kind of receive passes in that midfield, but have not done a great deal getting it to that forward four. As see there again, turned over, charging forward is Shipalani. Options available in the box. Shipalani, a couple of step overs, but just losing out there. Dealt with well by Rayo OKC. Still available though for Miller, who's come forward on the overlap in the corner. Does well to work around Ibiaga in the area. Maintaining possession are the Railhawks. Again, the tease coming, trying to play it for Watson, but the ball a bit wayward from Shipalani.
And what Carolina's done well, Chris, we call that second ball. They've kept stuff alive.
Watson to measure the cross. It's towards Duluth. Still available for Austin Duluth. Leaves it back for Watson, but his shot is deflected there by Danso. Now again in the area, Bravo. His attempt deflected as well. Carolina on the front foot right now. Shipalani running across a couple of defenders. Shriver in there, but the clearance again only as far as a Railhawks defender. Tobin out wide here for Duluth, who does well to maintain it without committing the handball. Now Kareem Moses on that left foot, not exactly his favored, to try and figure out the cross, and he doesn't. But it actually takes a deflection off Kimura. I thought it didn't, but corner, says the referee. Dave Gantar, official tonight. Kareem Moses, who's done well filling in for Paul Black, who's just out with a bit of a knock at the moment. Moses started at all three defensive positions, left back, center back, and right back. A lot of injuries in the Carolina back line this year to deal with. As the cross is swung in far post, Fernandez comes out to punch, deals with it well. Shipalani now here to swing it back into that mixer. Another good defensive header. Stephen Miller maintains possession here with Duluth. You see, of course, the shorter guys not forward for the corner. Now Watson with space to run into. Matt Watson will have a go.
Great build-up play again, coming out of the back, finding Bravo, that drops into midfield, releases Watson. He's such a great two-way player, elects to shoot, which is probably the right thing to do. Just can't get over it, but the versatility, the ability to stretch this defense right to left, switching the point of attack, is really creating problems for OKC. As I said again, that second ball, or Carolina keeps winning in good areas, forces OKC to just defend in their own half.
Just a poor ball there from Fernandez. Should say now that we are into the 31st minute, and I'll tell you that in just a moment. Duluth to swing the cross in, flicked on the flick attempt there by Shriver, falls to Fernandez. Carolina had come into tonight giving up 14 goals in the opening half hour of games, which led NASL, so they've at least gotten this far without conceding. OKC in that period had given up just 3, best in NASL, so they certainly do give themselves a chance. They've actually had a lot of games that were left late, usually in favor of the other team, and now the assistant will change his decision of throw into OKC to throw into Carolina, and now the Railhawks will get it in. And Al-Badawi just trying to win that one back, probably his heading attempt, just getting a bit too much of Tyler Gibson there. Who is into the team tonight, making just his 4th start of the year. Previously with the San Antonio Scorpions, under head coach Alan Marcina, who started the year for Rayo OKC, left mid-season after the majority ownership decided to implement some changes. And now Gerard Noose deciding that a former Marcina player be in the 11 tonight. Certainly do wonder how much someone who's spent most of his career in Europe is dealing with life in America. So the ball is swung in by Yuma. Good low cross there, I believe, by Gibson. And dealing with it on that near post is Duluth. If he didn't, certainly plenty of OKC options threatening.
Yeah, and they're changing up a little bit. Look, Michel's trying to, looks like he's faking it. Goes to Yamo, and then a good ball across. Gibson is the one that strikes the ball, but very good defending there by, I think it was Watson.
And you see there Silvestre just concerned at how close that was to perhaps an own goal. And now Michel will play the cross in. Back post is where the closest option was. It was Gibson again. A good defensive header. Going to be a corner on the other side. Michel will run across to the other side. He will take set pieces from just about any area of the park. You saw on that free kick he decided to concede the opportunity to Yuma. Clearly something that was rehearsed on the training ground. And now Michel to take this 4th corner of this one. Out swinging, headed on by Footy Danso. No one, though, able to direct it on target. There are a couple of threats there. It was actually both center backs. Ibiaga nearly getting something on it, but Danso just unable to direct it on target. And you see there bouncing high and over everything, including the goal.
Yeah, for Daly and Tobin, that's a handful with Ibiaga and Danso as well. Coming forward, they can muscle you, they set picks. And again, the service of Michel makes the difference.
Defensive header from Danso, but it was straight to Matt Watson, who'll now play it to the feet of Nazmi Al-Badawi, who, as you mentioned, Thomas, an NASL leader in assists with 9. And now the ball is played over the top for Al-Badawi. Can he keep it in? He does, but I don't think he's going to be able to retrieve it. He won't. It's Footy Danso who will just give away the throw-in right there. You mentioned, though, as the quick throw-in was attempted, but the referee had not signaled for it just yet. Without Samaras up top, there doesn't appear to be anyone to aim at in terms of when they're trying to clear the ball out of the back. There isn't a long ball option.
early on had some joy playing on behalf of Carolina, and they could play the feet and a little bit into space. There were some diagonal runs.
Duluth allows Watson to go into the area, and actually a little bit of a touch there from the defender. But concedes the corner is Michel.
Play from deep positions, Chris, and you get pressed. The only ball out is a direct ball going forward, where the Samarases of the world can hold it up and get people injured, or looking for flick-ons for runs to get there. So right now it's gobbled up by the Carolina back four.
Al-Badawi to swing it in near post, and Danso, or was that Ibiaga that dealt with it? Still available though for Carolina, but the ball back for Al-Badawi. The corner taker was just a bit wayward. It was Footy Danso. There you see him there, the 32-year-old from Gambia. Has actually scored twice coming forward on set pieces. Actually a former member of the Carolina Railhawks. It's where he was last season. Had an MLS career with the Portland Timbers and the Montreal Impact. Actually, if you will, came up with the Timbers from their USL days to their MLS days. Very cool. We'll see some of that with Minnesota United from NASL. You wonder who they'll decide to keep. You have to imagine their top goal scorer, Christian Ramirez, will be coming with him if he's not poached by a Mexican or European club. Here's Silvestre, who's been preferred to Akira Fitzgerald quite a bit of late. Those two have split the goalkeeping duty. Silvestre starting his 15th game, Fitzgerald preferred in 12. Still a young man, Brian Silvestre, despite a decent amount of time here in the American game. Now with Carolina, the ball is going to be played over the top here, but Omar Bravo was offside. Excuse me, Brian Shriver was offside. You would have known that by the way he runs.
Just try to jump in, but too late. They pulled the trigger already.
Brian Silvestre actually joined Carolina ahead of last season, but when Philadelphia Union and MLS had a bit of a goalkeeping injury crisis, they brought in Silvestre on loan. So the rare loanee that goes up, as opposed to players like Sebastian Ibiaga and Moises Hernandez for Rayo OKC that have come down from their MLS clubs to get some game experience. As Bravo will play it now to the feet here of Nazmi Al-Badawi. It's shouldered off the ball by Derek Boateng, and you see him there falling to his knees with incredulity. Cannot believe the call against him there for the foul. Play on, says the referee. We'll see the challenge here. That seems pretty clearly like a foul. You see there the stunned amazement. Carolina decided to play it short and lost out to a goal kick. Rayo OKC, you mentioned some of their offensive struggles. Just .62 goals from open play per game. Tied for second worst in the league. Only FC Edmonton worse, and they actually scored twice today. Either penalties, so Rayo OKC just needs to figure out their way through. They certainly have through set pieces and penalties, but otherwise just struggling as Al-Badawi charging forward, tried to leave it for Shipolani, but you see there just a bit of miscommunication. Shipolani was already heading forward, and now threatening on the other end here is Billy Forbes. Going to try and go across Mickey Daly, but the American defender dealing with it well. Unfortunately, his clearance not so good. See there Van Schaik, is he still playing with that piece of gauze in his mouth after the tongue bleed earlier? It seems like he is. And see there he's going to try and win the ball back here from Carolina. Really an interesting way to play football. That's the kind of grit that you love, Thomas, right? Someone, hey, I'm bleeding from my tongue, but I'm going to go out there and play anywhere.
That's right.
Look at him. See, they're just
an instant crowd favorite too, Chris.
Oh, for sure.
I knew how to do that stuff.
So you're saying he's stealing a page from the Thomas Rongen playbook?
Yeah.
Jared Van Schaik.
Fake injuries and pretended.
Fake injuries. We saw the blood earlier.
And come back on, you know, after you be carried off a stretcher, the crowd goes crazy. It's beautiful.
Look at that. That's amazing, and incredible tenacity there from the 27-year-old from Portland, Oregon. The ball swung in towards Omar Bravo, but dealt with there by Footy Danso. Now Al-Badawi to the feet of Kareem Moses. Now Shriver chesting it down neatly for Al-Badawi, who will send Shipolani on his way. Trying to figure out this cross he's running at. The aforementioned Van Schaik on the byline. Still sitting up for him, and he tried to cross in, and it was looping, but right for Fernandez to catch. Tobin trying to win that 50-50. He lumps it forward. Now the battle here between Kimura and Deleuze went out here for the Railhawk Deleuze. Moses. Bravo is available. Sent in on his way. Left-footed cross in and came off of Danso, though, out for a corner. You see there Kimura, though, in that exchange with him and Deleuze. Came out worse for the Weary. Now he's going to have a word with the referee just to wonder why he didn't get a call. Let's see what his complaints are. It's kind of an arm swinging back. It's kind of grazed his face. Not quite the toughness we saw there with Van Schaik. You see there on opposite fullbacks, not quite having the same approach. As you see here, the corner swung in, punched away by Fernandez. Trying to post up and maintain possession there is Watson. And Connor Tobin just gonna, or is that Stephen Miller, who played that as far forward as he could, but in the end conceding possession.
Good spell by Carolina the last 10 minutes. I talked about it again. They win second and third balls. They keep things alive. They're able to play on behalf of the opponent. They got good mobility. It's just a matter of that final run, that final touch inside the 18-yard box, that 3 or 4 crosses from either side. Great entry into the 18-yard box. Now you got to look for Bravo, Shriver, Deleuze to make a difference in those tight areas.
And there you see the playing out of the back working a lot better than it previously did, and Michel earning the free kick. Al-Badawi trying to win back possession, and now another set piece here for Michel to try and take. We wait here for the set piece. We'll show you the challenge in just clipping of the back of the heel there by Al-Badawi. 3 other games today played in NASL. Puerto Rico went away to Ottawa Fury and won by 2-1. FC Edmonton hosting Indy 11, winning 2-1. Late 94th minute winner from Ben Fisk. And the New York Cosmos sent Fort Lauderdale Strikers continuing on their tailspin. They've lost 3 in a row. The Cosmos winning today by 2-0. And here in our game of the week tonight, OKC and Carolina still scoreless. Swung in though by Michel, and Silvestre behind it to catch. Here is Matt Watson. We've not quite seen the deliberate approach out of the back from Carolina that we've seen from OKC. And there you see the high press nearly working. Kimura coming back from his right back position. Nearly won out, but Matt Watson maintains possession for Carolina. Mickey Daly. Just about 2 minutes before the extra time in this first half. Not sure we'll have a ton. We're just told from our production team it'll be about 1 minute of added time. Deleuze. Watson working across. Yuma now going on his way, taking on 3 and 4 defenders, sending Omar Bravo, and Omar Bravo, but a good sliding challenge off his line was Daniel Fernandez to win out there. And he's played a brilliant match so far. Moses just lumped over there. Gibson might have even thought that was a foul against OKC, but Rayo on their way.
Great display of dribbling technique that Watson is getting around 2 or 3 players, trying to find Bravo. Again, Fernandez doing so well of reading the situation coming off his line.
You don't want to be too lofty, but looked a bit Dimitri Payet-y, the way that he scored his goal for West Ham. Kimura, attempted sliding challenge in from Deleuze, but just maintaining possession there instead of trying to swing the cross over him was Kimura. Gibson trying to work around Kareem Moses, unable to do so. Deleuze now here by the corner flag, just a bit trapped. Able to leave it there for himself and try to dribble out of the back. Probably just would have done better to lump it clear as Kareem Moses does. Only as far though as Footy Danso. Here's Yuma. Yuma just falling to ground. The referee is actually going to give a handball there. No foul there on Omar Bravo. And Yuma, in falling over and trying to grab the ball, is...
There's not much there. A good decision by the referee. Yuma, that holding midfielder, who normally dishes out the aggression, is also an aggressor when he has the ball. Very interesting. This weekend was crazy. Madrid tying, Barcelona losing, Man United at home tying,
City losing their first game in the Premier League.
Yeah, against very good Tottenham team, well-coached team too at Pochettino. Atleti first now in La Liga.
After a poor run of draws to start the season.
Yep.
Was it 3 draws from 3 to start the year for Atleti?
Sevilla in third. Nobody's talking about them. But Sampaoli, the former Chile coach, doing a great job there. AC Milan winning 4-3 after being down 3-1.
But for a league that is supposedly a 3-team league, this has been a fascinating start to the year in La Liga. Of course, we'll have all the action here on BN Sports as we do head into an international break coming up. So no domestic action, but we do have plenty here on BN Sports,
South
including
American
a packed day of CONMEBOL qualifying coming up on Thursday night.
Can't wait.
I'll actually be part of our team bringing you those games. I'll have Brazil and Bolivia at 9 o'clock on Thursday night. Lots of great games. That is the end of our first half. Had a couple of gilt-edged chances for both sides. Daniel Fernandez equal to a corner from Omar Bravo. Also, Austin Deleuze has a sitter from 8 yards. We'll have all the first half highlights for you on the Express. It comes
5 or 4, Deleuze 4. You need any of those 3 right now to break out in that second half and provide Carolina with an opportunity to get 3 points.
So just the one change at halftime. Rashawn McKenzie, and there he is on the ball there in at center back for Sebastian Ibiaga. We'll see how this affects that back line. Just wonder if maybe McKenzie will help a bit with playing out of the back, which is something that they've attempted 5 and 6 times. They do well of getting to that second level in the center of midfield with Yuma and Boateng, but after that, can't get to that forward line. This time, they try route 1 over the top, and Silvestre able to just handle that. We've seen quite a few foreign coaches come to NASL, Gerard Noose among them, and say, all right, I want to try and play out of the back, but we just wonder with the realities of NASL that perhaps not the smartest tactic, as Silvestre tries to clear, but clears off of Miller, and Miller now just forced to lump it away. Just a bit of a miscommunication there.
Now, you look at the top 5, 6, 7, Chris. New York can play somebody off the pitch by good football because they have quality throughout. Minnesota can, but obviously they've faltered as of late. Tampa has the ability to do that, and the rest of the teams like Indy, Edmonton, they just have to grind out results, and Carolina needs to find a way to do that.
And Matt Watson there earning the free kick.
He's been a great engine out of the deep midfield position. Great penetration with the ball. And an awkward tackle by Footy.
Yeah, you see kind of thigh there going into Matt Watson. See just how worse for the weary he is. They're kind of keeled over a little bit, so we'll see what Carolina can make out of this set piece. Al-Badawi standing over it, among others, and now Daniel Fernandez just kind of barking out the directions for his wall. Bit too far here for a shot for you, Thomas. It's about 25, 28 yards away from goal.
You got to carry this one over the wall and go near post, away from Fernandez.
And elects to send it towards that far post, trying to see if someone can run onto it. Probably a bit too much pace for any white shirt to get on it. In the end, a goal kick here to Daniel Fernandez.
If you look at the first half, I mean, it's a little closer, but Bravo strikes such a great ball on target. You let him take control of this free kick as well and drive it at goal and look maybe for a rebound. Be a little bit more opportunistic.
As Deleuze flicking on here, allowing Bravo to charge forward. The Mexican running into the area, running past Danso, but Danso just winning out well. And Bravo sending Danso into the advertising hoardings in the Little and Little Caesars taking the brunt of that.
And then great sportsmanship too by Bravo. This is very good defending by Footy. Shepherding this ball out of bounds, using his body to shield that ball between Bravo and the goalkeeper. He's been stellar. There's a reason why they only have given up 30 goals. Their big problem, Chris, is scoring and creating opportunities.
Kenzie going to play back to his goalkeeper, and Fernandez is going to play it forward. Forbes trying to win out, but one in the air there by Stephen Miller, who's flying in. You see him there bungling over Boateng. Now Forbes going to try and work around Shipolani, but a throw in here for Rayo. Now Van Schaik, presumably without that gauze in his mouth here in the second half. And that situation straightened away in the locker room. Into the channel there. Went out there by Rayo OKC. Good ball flipped over the top. Chavez threatening. Good ball in from Tyler Gibson. And now OKC here going to win out in midfield. Boateng try and turn. And it's a poor ball out wide towards Forbes. Probably could have sent Forbes on his way. In-game coaching becomes critical in the second half. It will be very interesting to see. Obviously, that change made at halftime has to be a injury with Ibiaga for that sub to happen. But now going forward is what can Colin Clark and News do? Michel going to play it out to this right-hand side. Kimura going to try and set the cross up. High arcing. Stephen Miller on the back post. Just going to concede the corner. Not too many options there for the right back. Kimura.
And that's the most I've seen OKC getting balls actually in the area. And the obvious missing link right now is a substitute by the name of Mr. Samaras. And then you like to think that sooner or later News has got to go to the big Greek god and get something different going in that 18-yard box.
Michel will take it. Headed away at the edge of that 6-yard area. Yuma has a swing, and it actually was a converted field goal more than a shot on target. The goal post there and behind that goal. As it'll be played long out of the back. McKenzie just going to try and settle it down. Losing out there, but Yuma recovering it. Kind of lumped forward. Now Shriver threatening Danso, and a good defensive header there from the Gambian to Fernandez. Just wonder who will kind of take the impetus here in the second half to try and break the deadlock here.
It's looked like they've played Shriver, as you can see right now, a little bit closer to Omar Bravo, almost out of a 4-4-2, and let Shipolani and Daluz play out of a normal wide position out of that 4 in midfield. Just changing up things a little bit. Instead of having Shriver playing all the way underneath Bravo, he's playing a little bit higher right now. That's a subtle change that Colin Clark has made.
Yuma over the top, Kimura on the overlap. Gonna run here at Deleuze. Left-footed cross is available, he takes it. Flicked on, back post, Stephen Miller, but it looks like dealing with it well was Mickey Daly. Derek Boateng now. Thought about the shot, Billy Forbes turns onto his right foot, tries the shot, deflected there by Stephen Miller. Good block there by the right back, and now Bravo and Al-Badawi doing well to maintain possession here for Carolina. Bravo sent on his way, charging forward. Gonna run here at Kosuke Kimura, try to go across him, but Kimura intervening. A decent run of possession here. Daly just gonna play it over the top. Miller just leaving the ball behind. Good challenge in there from Bravo to win it back for Carolina. Al-Badawi low into the feet of Shriver. Advantage played, says the referee, but they don't concede possession, so now OKC could go on their way. That would have been a free kick from the edge of the area if that advantage had been given.
That definitely wasn't in favor of Carolina.
Boateng on the ball here, going to play it low here for Michel. Left back again for the Ghanaian. He's just struggled with picking out the best options, and now Van Schaik here on this left-hand side. They just trying to work their way through. Van Schaik now with a bit of space. Going to play it now to Yuma. Now here's Forbes to play the cross in, and it's a high ball, but no curve on it. And Silvestro will just be able to poke it off the top of his goal, and it'll be a goal kick.
Now Forbes is the one guy, very, very similar to Shipolani, Chris. He can really take people on and break down a defense, and he's just not on his. This year, he's just not clicked on all cylinders for whatever reason. He's a game changer.
As Tobin just playing it over the top. This is a bit surprising to me, given that Carolina is actually second best in the league in pass completion. How aerial their game has been tonight. So many balls in the air, particularly from their center backs.
And the real missing link, there's a reason why we haven't called his name very often for OKC, is Chavez. Non-existent.
Shipolani going to try and play around. Van Schaik had a tug at him. Van Schaik went to ground. No call from the referee, and his low cross attempted there is sent away by McKenzie. Well done there by Shipolani.
I would go back to that matchup every time if I can. Get out of there. Let him be isolated 1v1. He's gotten the better of Van Schaik 9 out of 10 times. It's like basketball. Somebody's got a hot hand, man. Just feed him.
As Deleuze will swing it in left-footed near post. Flicked on there by a couple of Rayo Hawks. See if we can get a closer look. Tobin was among those. I believe it was also Kareem Moses. Let's have a look again. Actually, that probably should have been a corner kick.
I think Van Schaik got the last touch of that one as well.
Either Van Schaik or Michel who was in there.
We had a little bit of a better angle than the referee, but the assistant linesman should have been able to overcall that that decision.
Good defensive header there by Connor Tobin. As you mentioned, it's been a long period out. Normally the first choice center back. Started 19 games. Michel and Watson with a bit of a tug. Neatly done there by Watson to maintain possession. Now Shipolani will charge forward. Runs through a pair of Rayo players and now has got options. Elects to take the one on the right with Omar Bravo. Cross towards the far post, and Brian Shriver flailing his way there, but the ball just a bit heavy from the Mexican.
Where OKC has been really good is going down the gut with Watson, with Shipolani, and creating mismatches. Here's Mr. Chavez. We haven't called him. He's getting out muscled by Daly, and then the counter just starts, and Bravo. He would like to get that one back. He's looking for Shriver. If he drives that one, it's an opportunity at the back post. But again, Shipolani and Watson's doing a great job in breaking pressure, getting by players, and then providing Shriver and Bravo with opportunities.
Van Schaik to swing the cross in. Good defensive header again there by Connor Tobin. But the clearance there from Stephen Miller only as far as Boateng. Yuma. I'm going to switch the play out to this right-hand side. Tyler Gibson. Really any of those three attacking players, Forbes, Gibson, or Chavez, haven't had a ton to do. Michel trying to send Kimura on his way. The clearance from Deleuze. Only as far as Kimura. Left-footed cross in. It's a header there by Forbes. He went out there. And Forbes actually Bravo going to let it run out of bounds. So must have taken a Carolina deflection on their way through. Boateng. Danso. Kosuke Kimura. And Rayo OKC find a way through. Just probing right now. Good little spell of possession here. See, he's actually won the possession battle in each of their last 4 games. Passing like this, he'll try and do the same again here. Danso now just gonna get a bit fed up and lump it in, and it'll be out for a goal kick. And we will have a change here. Richard Menjivad will come on. for Yuma. So just a bit of an attacking change there. We see probably on most days 3 defensive midfielders there in the center of the park. Girard satisfied with how they have the grip in that area of the field, and now just kind of want a bit more attacking intent on now. Michel will probably drop back more into the center of midfield, and he'll partner with Derek Boateng to hold down that area. Michel really unable to get anything going creatively as a kind of number 10/false 9 in there, so now he'll drift a bit further back. Deleuze, good turn. A good pass there for Shriver. Just trying to get it back to Kareem Moses, and Moses nearly went out, but very heavy in trying to pass that in.
And that's a good decision by News, because I thought through.
Challenging from Al-Adawi, another one in from Shipalani. A 50-50 one out there actually by OKC. Now Van Schaik is on his way. Gonna run across Matt Watson now with space and options. Out wide. The cross is in. Michel the closest to it for OKC, but a good defensive header there by Stephen Miller.
News has reversed that triangle. Boateng is playing alone in there. He's pushed Menjavar closer to Michel, which he should have done earlier. Boateng and Yuma played too deep in that first half.
Now charging forward here is Carolina. Deleuze to swing the cross in, takes a deflection off of a defender. Now Kareem Moses will have the ability to play it in towards the area. Good defensive header there with plenty of power by Van Schaik, and Michel able to hit the ball. He tries to send Forbes on his way, but it seems like every pass out to that left-hand side just hit a bit too hard.
Yeah, through the run of play, Michel has been poor. Plays a little bit higher now. You hope that he can maintain possession, spring some people maybe in that front 3. He's been good at dead ball situations, but through the run of play, Chris, he's been marginal at best.
Do check us out, beInSports.com. Of our great content. Good long ball over the top. Shriver just going to try and keep it down. He does. Deleuze, Al-Badawi going to send Stephen Miller in. He's going to try and send the cross in, but neither Deleuze nor Bravo could be equal to it.
Carolina just continues, especially on this right side, and OKC's left side with Van Schaik, just to find these great openings through Miller, Shipalani. That final pass, just like Bravo's, didn't connect with Shriver. This one, Miller didn't connect with the back post with Deleuze. And both defenses, Chris, have been pretty solid. Ibiaga, now McKenzie and Dunsworth dealt well with entry balls. So have Daly and Tobin for Carolina. Kimura is always strong on both sides of the ball, so it's going to take a special player to break this game open.
Michel has to go from distance, but inaccurate. See what Colin Clark has for substitutions go. Not a ton of attacking options.
He's got one that actually played for the under-20 national team when I coached him. Went to North Carolina during his college years. Is Billy Schuler. He's been in MLS. A little bit of a bigger target, not as fast, but in the 18-yard box, he can do the business. I wouldn't surprise me if he brings him on late in this game.
The ball is played over the top. We should tell you can check out all of our CONMEBOL action. 7:55 on Thursday. 6:55, I should say. All day long here on BN on Thursday. We are your CONMEBOL headquarters. I believe it starts fairly early in the day with a 4 o'clock fixture. So all day long, check us out here, BN Sports and Espanol as well. Are a bit, I believe there are a few conflicts in terms of time, so probably have one game on one channel and one on the other. So
the big game for me is Chris Willingham doing Brazil, Bolivia. Big game. Tune in.
That's right. Check us out. Brazil in Natal, off of a couple of big wins in the last round in CONMEBOL fixtures.
Huge. Ecuador on the road and Colombia at home. That was huge for Brazil.
One in the Amazonian jungle of Manaus. as Duluth is going to try and send Bravo on his way. There's not enough pace on it. Past the hour mark here on beIN Sports for our game of the week, and probably our best chance came 5 minutes in. Fell to the feet of Austin Duluth, who just couldn't take it. You just wonder what'll be the moment that opens this game up. Carolina have played a fairly low-scoring brand of soccer of late. The last 6 games, just 6 goals combined in 6 games between the 2 teams in Carolina games. So mainly focused on trying to play defensive, and now charging forward here, trying to get that goal is Carolina. Shriver trying to send it in. Bravo, Miller among those threatening, along with Shipolani. Chavez does well to send Forbes on his way with an overhead kick, and now Forbes tries to return the favor, and now Mickey Daly's going to have to ward off the challenge of Marvin Chavez and actually has to concede the corner in the process. Did very much enjoy how unfazed Simon Mensing was by that ball coming towards him. As now the corner kick will be taken here by OKC. PA announcer just trying to get the fans fired up here at the Miller Stadium. Michel will take the corner. Very good on set pieces, this Rayo side. Michel, part of the reason why. A swinging back post, another good defensive header. Carolina's been immaculate dealing with those crosses in. Very few gilt-edged chances for OKC.
It never surprises me, Chris, that you don't see in these games situational training or coaching. Michel has a great left foot, don't get me wrong, but it becomes predictable after a while. It becomes fairly easy for the Daly, for Tobin, some of the big boys to go, thanks for coming. Maybe a short corner. Short corner means you're going to draw somebody else out as well, and other things are going to happen. And that's something you can train. That's specialized stuff, dead ball situations, and balls are swung in well, but they're easy to deal with defenders, by defenders.
See here just what happened there, I believe, with Matt Watson. Have something with his contacts, or that's what it looks like.
Balmy night again in OKC. As you see, the guys are hydrating right now. This is always a welcome injury. Don't get me wrong. I hope he's okay, but 21 other guys are going, thank God, there's some water. And it's a time for News to talk to some players as well, make maybe some little adjustments. Right now, the coaches could make the difference, should make the difference in this game. Subtle changes within your 11 right now. They could be playing somebody a little bit higher. They could play with 2 beyond the front 3. They could step a center back into midfield when you have possession, or substitutions, huge as well, to swing this game either way, because it can go either way. Carolina's been a little bit better, more possession, as we've seen in halftime, in terms of the stats, but not any clear opportunities for any team outside of maybe Bravo's free kick that Fernandez deals well with. Is Carolina almost overemphasizing defending because they've been so poor, and then you lose something going forward? And when you get in this game, people like Fondi and, in my opinion, Samaras could make a difference.
Fondi not available tonight due to illness, and Samaras other options preferred by Gerard Noose.
And I can see why. They've struggled. Samaras 2 goals in the year. That's obviously not good. You can blame the players around him too, not providing him with the service that he needs.
And sometimes him being forced to go chase that service by going so far away from that striker position. As Michel sends Forbes in, but a bit too much pace. Maybe see the turf coming into play there. I've not said that too often, but...
And that's interesting too, because Chavez right now has not been involved like Samaras, and is he going to drop a little bit more into midfield to play make there, and then you lose that target up front? So interesting to see again what changes will happen and how this could make a difference in this game.
Sylvester will send it away, as Brazil and Bolivia is another one of our CONMEBOL games. It'll be on BN Sports and Espanol. I'll be on commentary, available through your SAP button, and also we'll also see that game on the English channel later in the day after all the games are done. And of course the highlights on the extra is now edge of the area. Al-Badawi trying to work it there. Moses. Al-Badawi just unable to settle it down and trying to win it back. Fouls Michel. Talked a lot about him in midfield. Hasn't been very influential, but certainly capable of converting a free kick or certainly penalties. That's one of OKC's main areas of scoring. 7 all converted by Michel.
Well, and that's why his stat obviously is a little misleading. It's not like Ramirez, who also scores on PKs, but out of run of play just scores 10. He scores 3, and 7 are penalties. Shows you the influence or lack therefore during the run of play. He's not very mobile. You got to build the team around him a little bit, which they've done with Boateng, with now Menjivar, who are more mobile and athletic. And you can see what his team is struggling on the attacking end.
Imura, long ball to the feet of Forbes, but he's just unable to settle it down. The Turks and Caicos international just unable to exert his influence this evening. Another defensive hitter there by Daly. Now Forbes will have some space. Charging out though as Daly crosses in. It's a decent cross in, but no one there to head it home. Now Gibson. Here for Kimura to swing the cross, and this again towards the far post, and Miller just going to let it run out for the goal kick. Yeah,
you just got to wonder if the ball that Forbes finally plays in, if Samaras can get on the end of it. You got to crash the box. If I was Chavez, if I was Gibson. Near post, far post, one between 6 and 12, lock up around the 18-yard box for second ball, so to speak. Both teams are doing a good job in making appropriate runs in the 18-yard box. Again, situational training. You can train that every day for half an hour. Fundamentals, basic final third runs.
Al-Badawi plays it over the top, but Fernandez comes all the way up. Bravo came into him, though. No call from the referee. Pulled down in the area by McKenzie. And somehow those are 2 instances with no calls.
Wow.
Bravo going into the keeper, and then McKenzie pulling down Bravo.
Thought about swallowing your whistle on probably both, quite frankly.
Let's have a look here.
Well, clearly a foul on Omar Bravo, pushing Dansu into the goalkeeper. Look here, the push from Bravo. Yeah. It's enough for Dansu to get into his goalkeeper. That's a foul against Bravo. And then this is a penalty. If you let this play on, which he did, then the second one is a penalty. Now, what a lot of referees do is, I've been poor this one against this team. Let me give the other team a break as well. So probably too good swallowing of the whistle.
That seemed to be a pretty zero-sum game as Moses tries the cross, but dealt with well by the Oklahoma City defense, and now it'll come out for a throw. Should say that this turf has played pretty well.
Yes, it has.
Compared to the other turf surfaces we've seen here in NASL, particularly the one in Miami, the typical football ground. See the ball bounce really high and run with a great deal of pace, but field certainly a lot more smooth. And now poor play there from Rayo allows Al-Badawi to get on his way. Allows the run of Miller to overlap. Low crosses in, threatening with a couple of options. See there the frustration on some of the Carolina players. Watson maintains possession under the threat of a couple of challenges. Michel winning out, and now Marvin Chavez. Counter-attack is on. Can they get it going? Here's Menjivad on his way. He's got Forbes in the middle. Approaching the penalty area, crosses in. Sylvester actually forced to poke it away just in case of the threat of that curling in at that far post, and Sylvester conceding the corner.
Yeah, that's a smart play by the goalkeeper. If you're not 100% sure, steer it out of bounds, get your organization set, don't give up rebounds. Probably looking at this here, he could have let it run, but there was a hard run being made just off his shoulder. And hey, listen, Gibson is near. I'm just going to be safe. Good decision by Sylvester.
Michel will play it near post. There you mentioned that different look. Return, far post. Danso with the header. In there is McKenzie, and Sylvester earns the free kick there after McKenzie was threatening and went into the keeper.
God, I should still be coaching, Chris. Short corner, the first one, and all of a sudden they can threaten because they're pulling players out. There's more space now to attack. Not too many bodies in there, which is easier for a defender. That's a great header, by the way. And Sylvester comes up strong there, knowing that contact is coming from McKenzie. I would make a double sub right now if it was News. I go with Sandoval and
he only has one change left, so I'm gonna have to pick between one and two. Menjivar and McKenzie, yeah.
Correct. I would have gone with Sandoval, but now I'll go with Samaras.
I wonder though if a change is on here soon for Carolina. Yet to make a change here, 75 minutes in.
Schuler for Deleuze. Has been poor today, missed that chance. He really hasn't been involved. Play Schreiber a little bit out wide on the left side. Play Schuler next to Bravo. Just create some havoc, which he can. Because this game is not pretty. Might as well be done.
Schreiber on his way. Gonna feed Deleuze, charging forward. Feeds Omar Bravo. Is he onside? He's not. Fernandez was there to make the save anyway, but Omar Bravo, that run just a bit offside, and get another look here and see if it was indeed.
I must say,
off there.
McKenzie does a great job. He looks over his shoulder. He knows he's the last defender. He just steps barely in time, but it was. Omar Bravo makes that run just a tenth of a second too early, or Schreiber's going to release it a little bit quicker. But good defending there by the back four of OKC, holding their line and stepping at the same time. It's not easy. It takes a lot of communication.
Danso had the option available on the right, only just takes it. And Kimura does well to run past Deleuze. Now Moses in there, takes a deflection off him, and it'll be out for a corner kick.
OKC showing a little bit of life here. Good ball by Forbes, nobody got into it. Good header of that set piece by Michel. Sylvester being up to the task so far. But OKC is showing some energy right now, which is important. The crowd is getting into it, Chris. Something will happen these next 15 minutes for either team.
Michel goes in far post, but a bit too much steam on it. Those substitutes have been warming up for a long time. We even saw them at halftime getting limbered up.
It's almost like both coaches are making decisions for injury. Not huge decisions to say to their teams, we're going to go for it right now. Just by my substitution, I'm telling you guys, we're going for broke. It's almost like neither team wants to lose this game, which surprises me more about Carolina than OKC, because OKC just doesn't have enough talent right now, I think, to break teams down. And it's not disrespecting this team, but Carolina's got way more horses. Ha, there we go, Georgie. Prove me right, baby. Prove me right. Get the winner.
It is Giorgio Samaras that comes on, and Marvin Chavez, who you shouted out earlier, Thomas, that comes off. And a first change there. Omar Bravo comes off. It's actually a defensive substitution. James Marcelin, the holding midfielder, perhaps will come on to allow Al-Badawi to go forward.
Correct.
But still interesting, as you mentioned.
Play a little bit higher. Watson can be that real two-way player. Let Marcelin play behind him. Watson's been great, actually. maybe you want to get him a little bit closer to goal as well. So let's see how that works out.
As now Al-Badawi threatening there, Danso just gets that pass off, but OKC dealing with it out of the back very well. James Marcelin that is on as a substitute, the Haitian, excuse me, played for Haiti at Copa America.
Scored a goal against the team that you're going to call against, Brazil,
right,
I think, in the Copas. The Copa. Yeah, great little, after all this devastation in Haiti. And by the way, I hope they're not going to get hit again hard by this hurricane that's threatening Jamaica, Cuba, and eventually maybe us.
Down here in our Miami studios, we're keeping track of Hurricane Andrew. Perhaps too much concern for our viewers in Carolina. Did I say Andrew?
No. Yeah, you said Andrew. Correct.
Oh, I did. It's Matthew. I apologize.
Exactly. Oh,
perhaps
males. I don't understand that.
Viewers in Carolina and Oklahoma, perhaps not aware of that, but Caribbean islands right now appear under threat of a pretty strong storm in the Atlantic Ocean.
Was it Cat 5, I think, for a while? It's a 4 now. That's about 50 miles. That's tough.
Marcelin spent 2 years with the Strikers, also played in MLS with Portland Timbers, another player that came up with them from USL to Major League Soccer. Now Michel here by the corner. Going to play it low to the feet of Billy Forbes. Options available. Going to try and work around them. Forbes. And a good challenge in from Mickey Daly in the end. That was a poor run from Billy Forbes. OKC had numbers forward, but couldn't do much with it. Now we'll see what Brian Shriver can do to hold up play, but a nice little poke in there by Ben Scheik. Stephen Miller just conceding possession. Miller down. The referee saying play on.
It's now up to the other team to be sportsmanlike, which they do actually. The referee does not have to call this if he doesn't think it's a real threatening situation. Watson actually ended up hitting the bench, I think, next to Colin Clark.
See there, Stephen Miller just down here by the bench. I wonder if maybe Colin Clark goes for Mitch Garcia or Simon Mensing. There's a couple of defensive options available.
I think it's more cramp than anything else.
Back out and running out there. Not quite hit the winter weather you would expect in OKC. Still early days in October. Flick down there by Boateng, and now Gibson going to try and send Menjivar on his way. The confirmation of the chain, Samaras for Chavez, and since Samaras has come on, I don't believe he's touched the ball. See if maybe he's able to threaten in the area. There you see the big man. He's the target of this one, but a good catch by Silvestre. Samaras was threatening, and that's exactly what you thought he should be in there for.
You got a target now, a real target, which Chavez isn't. Chavez is a player that you can play through underground, away from goal, that's allowed to turn and run at people, which he wasn't able to do through, 75 minutes. And you need some directness late in this game. Both teams, actually. So Samaras is ideal. If you go long here, for instance, he can win flick-ons. Let's see if I'm right here. Come on, Georgie.
Headers traded. Less than 8 minutes to go here in the 90. See, there are these shots figures, but haven't seen a ton of great chances, and able to keep it in play here is Carolina coming in off that left-hand side. Al-Badawi and allowed Deleuze to overlap. Low cross is in, takes a deflection, but he'll have a second bite at the cherry. Likes to play it low here with Marcelin. Marcelin started in midweek in their loss to the New York Cosmos. Al-Badawi. Good flick there by Deleuze to maintain possession there through Al-Badawi. Good challenging though. Menjivar winning out. Now Rayo can play out of the back. Kimura trying to send Samaras on his way, but instead Connor Tobin just has the defensive header back for his keeper. Trains coming by here in Yukon, Oklahoma. booted away by Van Schaik. Just wondering if we do ever get the deadlock breaking chance here. OKC now here with a pocket of space. Gibson. Samaras able to at least maintain possession here. He's got Kimura on the right. Boateng on the ball. Good challenge in from Marcelin. Does win out, and now he'll charge forward. They'll send Shriver on his way. Danso coming across, and Danso winning out.
And Danso's been just brilliant throughout this game in all phases. Be it headers in the box, be it 1v1 defending, being reading things quickly, has been darn good.
I haven't called this man's name a bunch in the second half after a really good first half. Shipolani plays it to Al-Badawi. His cross is in, but well off the mark. The
final ball on both sides has been poor. Forbes had 5 good opportunities to put a ball in there, only 1 out of 5. The loose has been poor on that left side in terms of service and even connecting on one where he should have scored. Shipolani was pretty decent, Chris, as you said, in the first half, but we haven't found him anymore.
And he mentioned Deleuze coming off. It's not for Billy Schuler, it's for Marvin Ceballos, so a midfield for midfield change. The Guatemalan will come on, 24 years of age. Marvin Ceballos making his 10th substitute appearance of the year. He'll come on quite a bit as a substitute. Actually played for Indy 11 last season. Scored twice in 12 games with them. Has played for Guatemala. Played in their Olympic qualifying side. 5 caps with the senior team, so decent career internationally. And Stephen Miller coming off as well, and Simon Mensing coming on, so that's our final change. You can hear that one over the EA system. So it is Miller, who you see there, just a bit injured earlier on, a like for like. So don't see Billy Schuler come on. No attacking substitutions from Colin Clark. Wonder maybe if here the point on the road will do, but not sure it will. The 2 points out of that 4th playoff spot and behind 3 teams. He only gets the point here on the road as Kimura will send Gibson in, but coming across is Simon Mensing, and the change is that Mensing will play a center back position and Connor Tobin will move out to the right. We're actually really playing 4 center backs right now, as winning out there on that left-hand side was Ceballos, but won well here in the center of the park by Carolina, and now trying to send Tobin on his way. Just a poor ball, though, from that midfield area. Moses playing on the left and Tobin on the right. Those are both guys that have mainly started as center backs this season, so just wonder if maybe that supply from the overlap will not quite be there, as Michel will swing the cross in. Far post threatening was Tyler Gibson, and actually Kareem Moses, advertising hoardings be damned, was going to get that one clear.
Again, great defending at the far post. You just want to make sure that nothing comes on target, and you're always better off just getting a ball out of bounds, which Moses did.
Begging for the noise as Sylvester catches cleanly. 23-year-old from Hollywood, Florida. Able to maintain that one. Michel there has played so many corners in, and none really. One chance from Ibiaga in that first half. Woody Danso had a decent go at it, but outside of that, not a ton coming from those corners, as Ceballos able to maintain possession here on the right. Shipolani moving to the left for Carolina. You just wonder between this. We saw on Wednesday night, we had Miami playing at home to Ottawa Fury, Al-Badawi just trying to measure something here in the area, and Woody Danso there, you see the frustration on his face with the original call of a corner. It's been changed here to a goal kick. The referee just making sure that both teams can get set. We had Wednesday night Miami Ottawa Fury, and Miami got a goal to win the game with about 30 seconds to go. You just wonder if you might get a chance like that here tonight. Just a late twist in the tail that would perhaps send Rayo on their way to a last-ditch playoff chase, or Carolina level with Miami, Tampa, and Minnesota, who sit right now level on points for that 4th and final playoff spot. Should be a fun last few games here, last month of the year here in NASL. Cipollani. Marcelin is going to let Cipollani keep on running, and the challenge for Michel will set up a set piece here. See who will lump a ball into the penalty area, perhaps. E.T. Cipollani, the South African. Probably the most influential attacker on the day for Carolina. Mickey Daly just going to allow a fellow defender to hit that one in. Now Badawi trying to go across Van Schaik. Boateng keeping it in the area. Van Schaik now just going to have to boot it clear, and he does. But Cipollani in there to try and win it back. Excuse me, Watson. But let's go, Rayo! See there, Rayo again winning possession. That's something that they've intended to do under interim head coach Gerard Noose. Play the ball out of the back, play it possession, but just haven't been able to create too many quality chances out of all that bit of play. As Silvestre will hit it high in the air. He wins the header, Danso does, but it's going backwards. Shriver wins the second ball, and now Ceballos has an opportunity to operate. Sends Shriver in, but he was offside. And we've just received word we'll have 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the 90 here. Now Fernandez is going to play it long over the top. Flicked on there by Samaras, but only T. Cipollani near that one. Now, can they play out of the back? A good ball there to send Watson on his way. Al-Badawi charging forward. He's got a couple of options. Takes it right with Cipollani here. Sets up the cross, going to run it. Van Schaik goes towards the byline, pulls it back. High arcing ball. Header on, and diving save there off the header of Shriver. Decent chance, but Fernandez, who's been stellar on the day, was not going to be beaten by that one. Tobin. Poor ball, though, from Al-Badawi, giving away possession. 2 minutes to go here in stoppage time. Derek Boateng. Or Rayo OKC, who, as you mentioned, coming into this one, have not lost in their last 4 games, but are on a run of 3 consecutive draws. About 100 seconds away from making it 4. Nice little tease there by Gibson. Sends the cross in. Off of Daly, off of Forbes. And Daly just sending it away. Good flick there by Shriver, coming all the way back. And now Ceballos, with his fresh legs, is going to have a bit of a trot here. Samaras threatening, forcing Ceballos to turn back. Now Connor Tobin is going to play it direct over the top, but no one for Carolina in there. Or pass from McKenzie. And Schaik. Sean McKenzie threatening there is Watson, almost able to win it from Boateng, and he does. Watson with space, edge of the area, tries to shot and scores! With a minute to go! Carolina with a massive goal for their playoff hopes. Matt Watson from the edge of the 18-yard box has given the Carolina Railhawks a pivotal 3 points in Oklahoma City.
What a thunder strike from distance, and the reason being that Matt Watson can be in this position. He disposes Boateng, strikes his ball far post shoelaces because Marcelin has allowed him to play higher up the pitch. He wins balls, which he does so well as the holding midfielder, and now he becomes a transition guy that can score goals. Mr. Watson, well-deserved, man of the match for Carolina, man of the match in this game.
Incredible. Matt Watson at the death has sent Carolina that much closer to the playoff chase. Long ball over the top. Danso is forward. Samaras gets something on it. Probably would have done better to just settle it down. You wonder how much added time there will be to added time from the official tonight, Dave Gantar, after the goal celebration. And with that, perhaps an extra 30 seconds here for Rayo. Just a few nervy times here for Carolina.
Going back to the goal, Chris, I mean, if you're Boateng, the last thing you want to do in that critical area is lose the ball. That's why you're going to get simple, get it off your feet quickly. Boateng gets caught by great pressuring Watson, who's got so much. His legs, he's got 4 lungs. He can bridge stuff, still fit, and what a goal.
Long throw in, a couple of white shirts there to try and get the header. Still there on the back post, and incredibly an equalizing goal! Footy Danso! After 92 minutes without a goal, in added time, of added time, Rayo OKC have broken Carolina hearts.
And well-deserved. If you're going to say, hey, man of OKC, before this happened, it's Danso. It's a long throw. Samaras pulls some people out. Ball is bouncing, not well attacked. And then, hey, look what I found. Thanks for coming. Staying alive, staying with the play is Footy Danso. And well done. Scramble, hey, you know what? Everything can happen. McKenzie does well to keep it alive as well. The 2 center backs coming up big for OKC.
Devastation for Carolina. They thought they were going to be level on points with Miami, Tampa, and Minnesota. Instead, they give up a late equalizer out of a scramble in the area, and it's Footy Danso, the center back, that gives OKC the equalizer. A stunning finale here in Yukon, Oklahoma. After 92 minutes without a goal, Gerard Noose's men concede and then equalize. What a game, Thomas Ronkin.
It certainly was, and Danso was the best player for OKC, and so was Watson. Both are scoring, but what it tells me is the front 4 of either team didn't get it done. Watson, a holding midfielder, gets it late on an incredible strike, and then loss of concentration with 30 seconds to go. That's where you got to be ruthless as a back 4 or a goalkeeper. Danso comes up big. McKenzie as well. Probably a just result in a game where I felt that OKC, only 1 win in 10 games, should have shown more, and that Carolina should have hunted for those 3 points earlier. But 1-1, that's all she wrote.
You see how devastated the Carolina Railhawks are right now. They thought they were walking away with 3 points and heading on their way to the playoffs, or at least the playoff chase in there with 3 other teams. Let's have a look at the goals here. There you see Matt Watson winning it off of Derek Boateng and lashing it in that right corner past Fernandez. And we thought at that point, victory for Carolina. There's a minute to go in stoppage time.
Absolutely.
Just got to see out a minute. The celebrations there, Watson and Kareem Moses thought they had the 3 points. Incredible shot from Watson.
His power, his strength, his low center of gravity allows him always to get around players, and good things happen. Talking about good things happen, you got your 2 center backs willing to sacrifice in order to score that goal. He says, yes, Mensing, where are you?
It was Watson, actually, the goal scorer, probably had the best opportunity to get it away. Instead, it's a